all the acne breakouts stopped. So I knew it was related to something in my diet.
Chris, you're 61. I've got to stop you. When you say you haven't had work done, does that include not having had Botox?
No Botox, no fillers, no facelift.
How do you feel about retinol use, for example?
So facial exercises, facial yoga help with improving the muscle tone under the skin, which makes up for some of that fat loss.
How do you feel, Chris, about the product that contains beef tallow? Walk us through your skincare routine, Chris, from the moment you wake up to the moment you put your head on your pillow.
Like a daily peel product, like an AHA 13-14% solution, using a proper pH face wash. And that's a little different for everybody. I don't have any of those age spots or any of that stuff. For guys, it's a lot simpler. You can use a product like...
And I really want to talk about that connection between the stress, anxiety, and the skin. Can we talk about pimples? Like, what should we do? Do we want to squeeze them? Have you ever been in a situation where you wake up in the morning and you were super stressed the night before and you look at yourself in the mirror and you now have skin rash or an irritation or dry patch or itchy skin, or maybe you even have adult acne, or you notice that the day before a really stressful meeting you have that pimple or that really uncomfortable breakout on your skin and it's systematic, or maybe you have all of that and you're wondering how to maintain a healthy looking skin without having to go down the route of plastic surgery and or Botox. Maybe you just want to stay young for a little bit longer and maintain that beautiful, youthful appearance. Well, if all of those questions are on your mind, I've got the right person for you. I'm so excited about today's interview because I sat down with one of the world's experts when it comes to skin. Today, I'm bringing you Chris Gibson. Chris has become known as the skin encyclopedia. There is not much, if not nothing at all, that Chris doesn't know about skin. Whether we're talking about skin on your face, skin on your body, anti-aging, what to do to make sure you keep your appearances, but also you maintain a holistic and healthy foundation for your skin. Whatever your question is, Chris has got the answer for you. So I hope that today you will enjoy listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed recording it with the skin expert, Chris Gibson. This episode is brought to you by our very first show sponsor, Capturebee.io. One of the hardest parts of building a business and expanding your personal brand is keeping a steady flow of warm leads and connections. When I first started, chasing leads on LinkedIn was draining, distracting, and let's be honest, not really why I went into business in the first place. Now, just imagine never having to hunt for clients again. No cold outreach, no endless LinkedIn scrolling at 1 a.m., no awkward reels either. That's exactly what Capturebee does for you. It's a done-for-you outreach service that books warm leads straight into your calendar. And more than that, it can help you get featured on leading podcasts so that you can elevate your personal brand at the same time. Chris, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you.
Good to be here.
Chris, I would love to hear a little bit more about how you got so interested about skincare.
Well, I had skin problems when I was a lot younger. When I was really in my early teens, like 11, 12, I started having issues. And so my family had a history of having acne problems and scarring. So we went to the dermatologist right away. And so the main focus with the dermatologist, of course, was to prevent scarring. That was sort of what they wanted to focus on. But it never really cleared up the problem. And as I got older, and this is in the 80s, as I got older, it didn't go away like everybody thought it would. And so just to make the long story short, let's talk about 11 years later. So I'm into my 20s now, 22 years old. And I was so frustrated with it. You know, I went to another dermatologist one more time. Best in the city, got the same old, no fault through theirs with the same old medications handed to you, same thing. So I knew it wasn't going to work. So I started looking outside that strategy for what might work for me. So I learned about diet and skincare products and ingredients and gut health and a whole lot of things that nobody was talking about in the 80s. But I cleared it up. I went on a fast for 3 days, first time I'd ever done that, and all the acne breakouts stopped. So I knew it was related to something in my diet, and over time we've learned that too much sugar in the diet's a problem for people who have immune responses in their skin, like eczema, rosacea, acne-prone skin. I took all that stuff out of my diet. We know that antibiotic use, and of course, having had acne early, I was on antibiotics for a really long time, on tetracycline for like 8 or 9 years. So my
Wow.
gut health was out of whack. So once I got all that straightened out, and I learned that just because a product says it's for something, it doesn't work for everyone. It may not work for you. So it just was really became a thing. And, for several years, I got into being a holistic esthetician, sort of like a side job, side thing, because I was very interested in all of the health benefits of a holistic lifestyle, fitness. As I started stuff really early, I learned about sunscreen really early. Nobody was really wearing that either, which is beneficial. Obviously, today, it's benefited me. All of the things I've done have benefited from an from a skin aging perspective, but my overall health is really good. So, just what the last, what is it now, 38 years? That's just been the focus, and it's evolved over time with as things have evolved, as science has evolved, diet has evolved, knowledge about seed oils and sugar and things like that, stress and how that relates to skin. And then, of course, all the new technology that's out, red light therapies, micro-infusion therapies, all these different therapies that are non-invasive that can be done to help the skin look really healthy. People say youthful, but healthy skin looks youthful anyway. You see that in people who are older who have really healthy skin. It just doesn't look the same. So that's kind of where this all led to me being on YouTube. I wrote a book in 2004, so long ago, it seems like now, that became a bestseller and got me on television. So I did that for a number of years, talking about the things I just spoke about. But the focus now is kind of more evolved to, um, how to reverse some of the signs of skin aging, what can be done to undo some of the damage, and then, of course, what can you do to not just look good, but to feel good. So the focus has evolved a little bit as I've gotten older, because now at 61, people want to talk about, okay, how come you have so much energy? How come you?
Chris, you're 61. I've got to stop you.
I've got the
so,
gray hairs to prove it in there.
So for anyone just listening to this show, I'm going to ask you to stop driving, stop walking, and stop just listening, and make sure you put your video on and check out Chris's skin, because he does not look 61 at all.
Yeah, it was quite a controversy when I started talking about my age on YouTube. There's a whole Reddit about, is he telling the truth? Like, I don't think he's telling the truth. It's a whole Reddit thread on my age, which is really funny. But I haven't had any work done. I mean, I'm not against any of that. Um, you know, People should do what they need to do to feel good about how they look, feel good about themselves, because that's the number one driver. All that self-esteem issues when it comes to how we look can really put a cloud over how you feel about yourself. So I spend a lot of time talking about that and giving people options and reviewing products and ingredients and what really works, what really doesn't. So it doesn't necessarily mean you spend a bunch of money on a product all the time. Sometimes a product that's very inexpensive works just as well. So I try to take all of this information, and there's a lot, and break it down and make it very simple to understand and apply. That's really what I do.
So Chris, when you say you haven't had work done, does that include not having had Botox? Not?
No Botox, no fillers, no facelift. I do facial yoga. I've been doing that for years. I do micro-infusion, which is the stamping to get the serums, whatever I'm using, to go deeper into the skin. And, not super deep skin peels, but I'm a big believer in exfoliation, getting old skin off. It's because it blocks your products as it builds up as we get older. So I'm big on exfoliation, light skin peels, the strongest one I've ever had was a TCA peel. So all of them in home. I don't ever have to go anywhere. Of course, I'm licensed to do stuff, so I can do things that a lot of people can't. Like, I'm not afraid of stuff, but it really is consistency over the years. And then, of course, protecting myself from too much sun. You need some sun. Your body needs that in order to manufacture vitamin D, which is very important for your skin health and your, other areas of your health. But I'm talking about, years of accumulated sun damage where you've gotten a lot of sunburns, such I've avoided that. Um, I'm kind of lucky genetically in that my skin responds to sunlight. I get very tan very quickly. So I don't burn very easily. But at the same token, having protected myself, I grew up in Texas. I lived in the Northeast for 20 some odd years, 23, 24 years. And now I'm in Florida where there's sunshine again. So I'm very aware of protect. I wear hats a lot. I'm known for my ball caps when I'm not on camera, to protect my face. But yeah, all of those things together, it's all these little tiny things that someone does day to day that adds up to how you look and feel. So
I'm assuming that when you talk about sunscreen, you're not talking about any sunscreen because some sunscreen is just loaded with toxic product, right?
I like hybrids, and that is where they take a mineral sunscreen and they put it with one of the less none of the chemicals in the sunscreens have caused a case of cancer. They haven't. On a petri dish, they've caused a problem. So that's where the worry comes from. Could it contribute? And some of those chemicals in sunscreens, although they're getting better at removing them, change when they're in the sun. When the sunlight impacts them, they change. Plus, it's a chemical you're putting on your skin. So the hybrids are mineral sunscreens that have like an avobenzone component. It's a very small percentage in order to give you total protection, because the zinc part tends to wear off very quickly. So the hybrids are a lot safer. They give you good protection, and they generally work well for people's skin. A lot of people don't like the mineral ones because they feel like it leaves a kind of a white, shiny cast on their skin, because that's what it does. It reflects the light back off of your skin. But you can wear clothing, hats. There are a lot of ways to protect yourself. But yeah, a good sun. I wouldn't lather myself up in a heavily chemical sunscreen. I think most people don't really try to do that anymore. I don't like the sprays or any of that stuff. I do like the lotions. And now we have sunscreen powders that you brush on block, which is a mineral sunscreen that has a tint component to it, much like a setting powder in cosmetics. I use it on myself. You powder it on and you're protected. So it's, and then buying products, if you're into cosmetics, buying products that have a sun protection factor added in is helpful. Like a foundation that has it already in it, has a zinc component or whatever. You don't need a 50. 35 is fine. 35, 40 is what most people do. When you get higher than that, when you get up to 50 and more, 50, 60, I see 70, the stuff is greasy, doesn't absorb well. You're still going to have to reapply it every couple of hours, or if you're in the sun, or again in the day, if you have friction where you're washing something or you're sweaty, you're still going to have to reapply a 50. So why spend all that money on that extra? You don't need it. It's not like it's going to do anything more for your skin, and it can be very irritating if it gets in your eyes. So, those greasier ones tend to migrate on their own. If you've ever gotten sunscreen in your eye, it's not fun. It's not a fun experience. So, 35, 40, 45 max is usually really good. And there are a lot of range of products that are well formulated that, again, are hybrids, which are going to give you a safe sunscreen level of the chemical component. And it won't be the ones like octinoxate or any of those that, the benzones, they won't use those. And then it'll have that mineral component that helps. So, but what I tell people, look, you need to wear sunscreen, if you're going to be out in the sun a prolonged amount of time. If you're just going to be out 20 minutes, your body needs that anyway. You don't really need that protection. But if you're going to be out longer all day doing yard work or whatever you're going to burn, you need sunscreen. So whatever sunscreen you'll wear is the one to get. It's like just whichever one you'll wear.
That sounds good. Chris, I have another question, and it's a bit of a personal one as well, because I'm thinking about my journey with my skin. And being more and more involved in the well-being community, I took a stance a few years ago and I quit Botox. And, I'm quite happy to admit that I did it for many years. I did it too soon and I did too much of it. And it did leave some negative consequences because I now found that even though it's been years since I stopped, I do have some, what I find rather pronounced, at least I see them, wrinkles on my forehead and around my eyes that I didn't have when I had Botox. And now I can see them and I'm completely certain that I don't want to go back to Botox. But I'm wondering, what would you recommend that is more holistic, that could really help me with those wrinkles that I can see? Because I can think that would help a lot of our audience as well. And
Sure.
I'm sure I have the same situation and circumstances.
Well, first of all, as we get older, hydration is important. The problem with Botox, as you already know, if you use it too early, it weakens the muscles under the skin over time. Just like if you weren't working out, a muscle you don't work gets it atrophies, so it gets weaker. So a lot of times we see that here on the corner, on the cheekbones, under the eye, people that have worn Botox
Yes.
for a long time get a little place, a little pouchy looking thing.
Yes.
So the good news is that there is a peptide called Argireline, which they kind of call it Botox in a bottle. And the way Botox works is it cuts off communication in a muscle. You get the shot, it freezes, doesn't really freeze the muscle, but it stops the communication in that muscle so that when you smile or move, that muscle doesn't move. Well, Argireline does something very similar, but it disrupts that communication, not to the degree of Botox, but enough to relax that muscle so that over time you can get some of the same benefits of Botox without having to have Botox. So
Okay.
works very, very well. They've started to include it in a lot of formulas now because it is such a helpful peptide. And it's just an amino acid. It disrupts that communication in that muscle just ever so slightly. You're still going to look normal when you smile. You won't have the frozen Botox look, but it's enough to make a big difference over time. So that's a good alternative. If you've not done Botox and you want to do something that's going to have a similar effect, that's a really good one. For people who've done a lot of Botox and have some of these issues, the micro-infusion stamping that you can do now at home, where it's the mini little needles, it's a little vial that there are a lot of companies that make these. Cure Skincare is one of my favorites. It's a little vial. You put the serum in it. You put the top on it. It's little gold needles. They're just the right length to just pierce the very outer layer of skin. Not going to make you bleed. Not like a roller. None of that stuff. And you, every 2 weeks, you just stamp your skin with this stamper overlapping, and it will actually begin to lift out those areas. It stimulates collagen production. It helps your products work better. It hydrates your skin. It will plump out fine lines and wrinkles just amazingly well. So if that becomes part of your strategy over a few months, you're probably going to not even see much of any kind of wrinkles. It's really that powerful a way to attack that kind of problem. And it even works for photo aging. Like if you start to get some of the browner spots or patches from sun damage over time, it will help with that as well.
Amazing. Now, how do you feel about other everyday topical retinol use, for example? Is that something that you recommend? Are you pro or against? If you're enjoying this show so far, I just have a very quick favor to ask you. Could you go ahead and click the follow button or the subscribe button? It would mean so much to me and it would really help to grow our show so that we can enhance the production, we can bring you the best possible guests, and we can have the most amazing conversations. So if you haven't already done this, please take a moment today to go ahead and click the follow button or the subscribe button. Thank you so much. And now let's go back to this amazing conversation.
There's a wide range. Not everybody can tolerate retinols or tretinoin. I was on tretinoin for a few years myself. I now use exosomes, which are plant-based stem cells that help do some of the similar things that tretinoin or retinol will do. If you want to stick to that, you can now get retinoic acid, which is gentler on the skin. The problem with tretinoin and retinols is that they go on the skin and they have to convert into retinoic acid. So they use your skin chemistry, the retinol does, and it breaks the retinol down. Your skin does, your skin chemistry, the molecules, And then it's that chemical change that causes the dryness and irritation in the skin, the redness. So there are a lot of people like, if I were to get tretinoin on my eyelids at all, it was terrible. Like my eyelids would just get really scaly and peely. So I got to the point where I really don't want to use that anymore. It's a great product. It's still one of the best topicals out there. If you can tolerate it, you should be using it. It's amazing.
How often?
It's well, I always say your dermatologist will determine the strength and how often, but it's usually a nightly application. You don't apply retinols during the day because the sunlight breaks them down and makes them useless. Plus, it makes your skin more sensitive to sunlight. So it's best to use them at night with a moisturizer after to kind of soften the effect of the ingredients. But if I tolerated the strongest version of tretinoin or Retin-A, except that it was irritating my eyes. Like that's why I was like, if I can use something else now, I've gotten the benefit over the years. If I can use something else now that will give me a similar effect and preserve what I've done without all that irritation around my eyes, then so I really like Exosomes. That's kind of the next thing. And I use red light therapy as well. I use a red light therapy mask every single day to help with collagen, and I have collagen peptides in my diet. So I really pay a lot of attention to collagen in skin and the breakdown of collagen in fat, because that's that movement of all of that causes most of the issues people deal with, where they have to go get fillers and so on. So facial exercises, facial yoga help with improving the muscle tone under the skin, which makes up for some of that fat loss. So you can literally, I have 2 or 3 videos on facial yoga. The comments are insane. People go, I tried that for a week and I saw a difference already, or it really works. A lot of plastic surgeons don't care for that because they'll say there, it doesn't work, it's stretching your skin. Well, it clearly does work. So is it going to give you a facelift? No. But it's usually enough improvement that people feel really good about it. Like it'll take 5 to 10 years off the look of your skin. When you
honestly, yeah, I can vouch for that because when I quit Botox, after it wore off, those wrinkles were more pronounced than they are now. And that was years ago. So I've aged more, but I reversed a little bit of that time just using face yoga.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. Facial massage, anything to get blood moving in your skin, help to tighten the tone under the chin. It'll get rid of a double chin. You just have to be like anything else, very consistent with it. But it's an amazing technique that doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. It just takes your time. And then you can use things like Argireline and Exosomes or a retinol or retinoic acid product to help, with the collagen. So if you really the goal is after 30 to preserve as much collagen and fatty tissue under the skin as possible. So you can do that through diet. As I said, you can add collagen peptide, amino acids. That's all they are. It's not collagen itself. There's a lot of confusion about that. I get people like, oh, collagen, you can't use that. It doesn't absorb into your skin. Well, we're not talking about collagen itself. We're talking about the building blocks. So peptides or collagen peptides are 19 amino acids that your body uses to produce collagen in various areas, joints, blood vessels, brains, everywhere. Your eyes even most of your body structure is collagen and water. It's what makes us sort of elastic and flexible.
Chris, what I do, and I would love for you to tell me if this is what you're talking about, is in my morning coffee or tea or hot cacao, whatever I'm drinking, I put some collagen peptide, bovine collagen peptide. It looks a little bit like a white powder. I just put a scoop or 2. Exactly right. Is that what we're referring to here?
And you can get them now in gummies. You get them in all sorts of things. But yeah, having that daily, you're just making the amino acids that your body needs bioavailable for the processes that your body needs them for. And what happens is at night, when we go through the overnight repair cycle, when you're sleeping, that makes that available, and the repair process is more pronounced and much faster. So people see better and better results the longer they use them. Unfortunately, there isn't really a vegetarian version of those 19 amino acids. But there are.
It's okay. We're a carnivore show.
But there are vegetarian things you can do, like mushrooms, that will help your body produce more of them itself. So if you're someone who can't tolerate the peptides for some reason, or you are vegan or whatever, there are alternatives to try to help, what I'm trying to say, bump up your own production of those amino acids. But it really is like bone broth and the peptide powders. That's really the same collagen that your body needs and has already. So you're getting the exact thing that your body needs. So I always bring that up because I get asked that question all the time. What else? Is there something else that does that? Well, no, not really.
How do you feel, Chris, about the new wave of product that contain beef tallow? Because I've tried many and I have to say I really do love them. I love the texture, I love the feeling. I find them really rich
Yeah.
and very nice.
I
Do you have an opinion?
I have beef tallow here. I use it from time to time, especially on my neck area. The reason that it works so well is it's a type of oil that your body can absorb very easily. There's not a lot of different oils that the body can utilize in the upper layers of the skin very well. Olive oil is one that is good. That's why you see olive oil in a lot of skin products. It's very helpful. It's one of those oils. Beef tallow is a similar type of thing. Um, it's very hydrating. It really works on the very surface of the skin to improve the texture and hydration. So that's where you get that sort of more elastic feel. Almost you can feel it feels moist and elastic and healthy. That's because of the tallow. And the tallow is a little bit occlusive, which means it holds moisture in. It keeps you from losing it. And so I use it as like a last step moisturizer. So like I do whatever I'm going to do, and then that's the last thing I put on so that I sort of have that on the top. And guys really like it because it's a one step type of thing for most of them. And it really works if you have like hardened skin from the too much sun, some more severe sun damage. Tallow can make a real difference in that as well. So yeah, it's a good step. It's an alternative. It's an option. It's not one that everybody has to do, but when it comes to hydration, it is very, very good.
So, walk us through your skincare routine, Chris, from the moment you wake up to the moment you put your head on your pillow, just focusing on your skin specifically. What are the steps and the routines that you take daily?
I usually make a joke. I don't do anything.
No,
I just wake up and splash water on my face and we're good. No. That's not true.
I do not
So,
believe that.
so no. So surprisingly, because I test a lot of products, I probably have more going on in my routine than I would if I didn't. But my routine over the years has been very simple, and it is exfoliation first to make sure that I'm getting old skin off, whether it's either through a peel product like a daily peel product, like an AHA 13-14% solution to help speed up the cellular turnover and get what it does is that breaks down the glue between your old skin cells and the new ones underneath. You don't notice it. It's not a peel where you're like got skin coming off. It's a flaking that happens naturally. It speeds that up. That's always in my routine. Using a proper
Daily.
daily, using a proper pH face wash, and that's a little different for everybody because everybody's skin chemistry is a little different. So the way I say, if you're washing your skin, body or face, and you feel squeaky clean when you got like squeaky, like dryish, squeaky clean, that's the wrong pH. You got to change. So sometimes you have to try 3 or 4 before you get the right one. Your skin should feel clean, hydrated, fresh, elastic, not the minute you towel out dry and tight. It should never feel dry and tight. You've stripped too much oil out of your skin. The natural oil in your skin is super important for not just anti-aging purposes, but for skin health and maintaining your skin's barrier against against external irritants, pollution, that type of thing, even sun. So that's always important to me is I don't usually wash my face in the morning anymore because I'm older. I'm still oily, but not as oily as I used to be, because it's not really necessary unless, I worked out or something, then of course I'm going to do that. But every night, face cleansing, very important, followed by whatever I'm treating. Like I use a cream that has azelaic acid in it, kojic acid, all the acids that work on pigmentation to help my skin manage its own melanin production and keep it even. On the occasional time that I do have some brown spot pop up, it's not very often, then I will switch to something stronger, hydroquinone, tranexamic acid, for a while to fade that back out. That's my hands. As you can see, I don't have any of those. You can see that. There we go. I don't have any of those age spots or any of that stuff. Then I use a retinol body cream, but it's bakuchiol. It's not vitamin A retinol. It's from bakuchiol, from that plant, that extract. And so we're finding that bakuchiol gives the same benefits as retinoic acid, but it's much gentler for a lot of people who have sensitive skin. As you get older, your skin tends to get a little more sensitive. And then, of course, I'm going to use a moisturizer. I have an eye gel that I use underneath that has caffeine serum in it. And then always, always, always sunscreen if I'm going to be out and about. And it's Florida, so I'm always out and about. So there's always sunscreen every day. And so I keep it really simple. You know, it's clean ingredients. So it's like cleanse, treat for whatever. Vitamin C serum, I left that one out. I have a vitamin C serum that I use every morning. So vitamin C serum for antioxidant. And then like serums like Argireline. The product that I use has Argireline. It's Argireline, niacinamide, and vitamin C. So if you can find one that has those ingredients together, you can save some steps. You just have one serum. But basically, that's it. It's really just cleanse, treat.
That's it. You've lost 99% of the men in the audience.
For guys, it's a lot simpler. You can use a product like the beef tallow. Usually has some of those ingredients. All guys need the same thing. Skin needs the same thing. Back of the hands, arms, chest, anything that's exposed to the sun. Exfoliation, some good sort of moisturizer. The beef tallow is fine. A vitamin C serum. Most of the guys that come to me, and I'm in my audience, 46% of my audience is men. So it's a lot of guys. And so I realize they don't like a lot of steps, but there are products out there on the market that are designed that combine all of those ingredients into one particle. For Men is a really great brand. It does the same thing. It takes a lot of these steps and puts it in one cream. So you just put the one thing on. So I get it. But at the end of the day, the guys are just as concerned about how their skin looks as the ladies are. Yes. They may not talk about it outside of that, but with me, they'll talk about it. They don't like the leather neck. They don't like what's going on in their chest, or the back. They don't like man hands. What can I do? My hands are like thick and gnarly looking. And so I spend a lot of time talking about exfoliation, removing that skin. Yes. In some cases, if products aren't working to the degree you want them to, they're working, but they're not getting you there, then definitely going to see a dermatologist or a specialist where they can do a deeper TCA peel and really get that skin off. But it needs to be done under supervision because there's risk of infection anytime you're taking a lot of skin off. And you want someone who knows what they're doing because there's timing to these peels. They put the chemical on. It's a very completely timed, and they kill the action with another solution. They stop the process and then give you instructions on how to treat your skin so it heals properly. But and then once you've had those deeper, more invasive things done, even laser surgery can take off skin damage. There's a lot of different ways to approach that. Then it's really back to what we were just talking about, a routine to protect your skin and protect the results that you've gotten so that you keep them. Skin is very, if you're in generally good health, your skin has a great degree of ability to heal itself, to regenerate itself. So, I mean, that's why I'm so concerned. That's why I work out. That's one of the reasons that I try to keep my diet pretty in line, because all of those things impact your skin health.
Chris, I would love to ask you a question about a part of our body that you mentioned in passing that I hear so many clients complain about, and it's the neck. And as we grow wiser, should we say that instead of older? As we grow wiser, I've noticed, out of my own personal first-hand experience, but also second-hand with clients, there is a real significant difference between the skin on your neck that feels like it's not as elastic, as tight, drier, and the skin on your face. Tell us more, and how can we look after our neck?
Yeah, hydration of the skin of the neck is one of the biggest things I talk about, making sure that we're doing skincare here as well. It's not so much exfoliation. The neck skin is thinner by design. This has got to be very flexible. But as we get older and we lose some of the collagen and fat, that skin can become kind of loose. People don't like that. The same thing we were talking about before. There are exercises for the neck that you do, yoga exercises that will pull. It doesn't take a lot to lift this up. I mean, those exercises that strengthen those muscles under the jawbone will pull that up 1/4 of an inch or more. That's more than enough. You can take your fingertips. I do this with people live all the time. Put it right on the jawbone and just barely lift it, just like 1/4 of an inch, and your entire neck gets lifted, just that little bit. So
Like this?
yeah, you just take your fingers and then push them up. Just start at the bottom of the jawbone and push to the top, pulling the skin with it, and it will lift your entire neck. You'll feel all of that lift up. So it doesn't take a lot to pull that skin. That's why neck lifts are so popular, because they can just go right here and pull it up. But you can do a great deal to tighten that up through this yoga, definitely using products, neck creams that are designed to be gentle on the skin, but yet hydrate. It's really about keeping neck skin hydrated, like super hydrated, over hydrated, generously hydrated. Will make a big difference.
I know that, Chris, you're popular, super popular on YouTube for your videos about skin health and skin aging. Could you indulge us in maybe your top 3 go-to exercise, and could you teach us live just 3 simple ones that we could practice together? And I'm happy to be following your lead.
I will show you how to do one that's like 3 in 1. How about that?
Even better.
And the nice thing about YouTube, you can go in and put Chris Gibson and any problem that you have. And I probably have a video. There's almost 1,700 videos on my channel now. So we'll do this one really quickly, but you can put in Chris Gibson face yoga and YouTube will bring up all those videos. You can put in the search bar on YouTube, Chris Gibson neck, and all my neck videos will come up, because I have dedicated videos that I like about the skincare, what products you use, what ingredients, and these exercises. But we'll do this first. Easy is the hard part, you got to swallow. Like you act like you're swallowing. You got to use those muscles. So like when you swallow something, these muscles right here get activated. You can feel that when you do that. So what you do is you face forward, and then you're going to look at the ceiling, and you're going to purse your lips, like fish lips, like that, and you're going to swallow it to use the swallowing muscles, and that's going to work all of these vertical muscles right here to help lift this. So it's really easy, and you just do it like count of 3 is fine. So we'll do 1. And then you relax. You see what I count? You can feel that tighten all of that up. So you do that forward, then you do that forward 3 to 5 times, then you look to the left, up. Same thing. 3 to 5.
Let's do it together.
Yeah,
and everyone put your
my left. If you're watching, you're right, but my left, right?
Okay, let's
so it's like this. Same thing. And then you relax. Same thing to the other side. Same way. And it takes a little practice to get it, but you can really feel it. If you do those, that's a yoga pose. Actually, I learned it from a yoga teacher that my grandmother had. I talk about that in the video. My grandmother did yoga for her whole life. She was wiry and young looking, and she didn't have any of that loose skin around her neck or jaws. It's like this, and the lady was like her 70s. So anyway, so that exercise is helpful. There are several others, but that one right there works everything. It works the chin, the jaw, this little area under here, to turkey neck, all of that. It gets it all. And if you do that consistently within 1 week, you'll notice a difference. Like it lasts. It looks good when you do the exercise, but what I'm saying is you'll begin to see the tone up of all of that noticeably in about a week. So people really love that exercise because it works. And, most of us don't work. It's like a lot of muscles on the body that as you get older, pelvic floor muscles, hamstrings, stretches that you need to do in order to keep those muscles toned, because over time they tend to get weaker. And the same thing here with the neck. It's the same thing.
Love it, Chris. Switching gear a little bit, I have a question around stress, anxiety, burnout, overwhelm, and the skin. And specifically, when I told my clients that I was having you on the show, they got really excited and told me, please make sure you ask Chris about the connection between how stressed we get and how skin are responding to that stress. Because very often when I do burnout interventions, one of the things my clients say is, I woke up with a rash. My skin was itchy. I woke up with these red patches. And I really want to talk about that connection between the stress, anxiety, and the skin.
Sure. The number one issue with ongoing stress is the level of cortisol. And cortisol creates inflammation in the body. And inflammation in the body is it creates an immune response, obviously, which can lead to problems like rashes. If you're acne prone, that's why, I said the wedding night jitters, that breakouts that happen before something really important, rosacea issues, eczema, psoriasis, all those can be triggered by too much stress. And the problem with it is you start stressing out about the breakout or the flare up, which just makes it worse. That's why cortisols are so effective temporarily for those conditions, not acne necessarily, but the other ones, because they calm that response down. So I am a mindfulness person. I will stop even when I'm editing videos. If I start to feel tired or I'm getting stressed out about something, I will take a time out. I take lots of timeouts. Now I realize that I have the luxury of doing that. And not everybody does all the time, but things like making sure that you are not doom scrolling before you go to bed so you get a good night's rest, that you don't have the phone right there, that sleep is super important. One of the things that we find in people that are really having difficulty with sleep is they're deficient in magnesium. So, and there are different magnesiums. You think of magnesium as a mineral that has to do with heart health, which it does, has to do with digestive health and regular bowel movements, it does. But there are different mixes. There's a magnesium 7 that's specifically designed. That's the name of it, magnesium 7. It has the magnesium components that you need for a restful sleep. So you take it before you go to bed. You want to try to reduce cortisol as much as possible. So if you're waking up tired and puffy every morning and you're not a drinker or smoker, you didn't party the night before, you probably have a really high cortisol level. So that's one of the things you can go and get this checked out at a doctor as well. They can check your magnesium levels, but oftentimes magnesium is one of the issues that's behind that, especially, if you're up late eating and snacking before you go to bed, you don't really giving your body a chance to stop. So that's why I say doom scrolling, we're getting your mind all worked up, be stressing out over something, overthinking, eating stuff really late right before bed, is all of that stuff inhibits you getting a good night's rest. And you need that because, as I mentioned earlier, the body has a repair cycle that starts about 10, 11 o'clock at night after you've retired and runs till about 3 in the morning. And that's your cells breaking down cells that are damaged to disease and removing them. And that is also regenerating cells in their place that are healthier, all of that. So it's the same thing. When you're sick with something like a flu, you sleep a lot because your body is taking advantage of you being turned off to make the repairs and to heal the damage that's been done by the virus. Same thing with everyday life, could be a virus, it gets in there and it can rob us of our strength and our sleep, and it can be a very vicious cycle. So that is the correlation there between skin and lack of sleep. Is beauty sleep is a real thing. It really is a real thing. And if you're a person who is insomnia or you have a lot of trouble sleeping, on the occasion that you get the good night's sleep, you look and feel completely different the next morning when you've had that rest. You're like, oh my God, I actually got 8 hours of sleep, or whatever it is, something that's 6. I slept through the night. I slept great. I feel good this morning. That's because your body was able to take advantage of that. Now imagine if that happens every single night. You're going to look better and better and better. And some people, we could spend 3 podcasts on that, about intermittent fasting and autophagy and all the things that go on, the processes that cortisol interferes with, that A technique like intermittent fasting is helpful for a lot of people. I'm not a big proponent of sleep aids. I'm a big proponent of sleep environments. So like making sure your room is hydrated if you live in a dry climate, making sure you have humidifier, making sure you're using a sleep pillow that supports your neck so that you don't get crinkles and squished up face and chest when you turn around. Making sure it's dark, it's quiet, peaceful, whatever that is for you, and making sure you get a good night's rest. So
I love that you said that, Chris. Very useful to have that reminder. Are you a big fan of this silk pillow
I have
trends for the
silk pillowcase.
face?
I have silk pillowcases. More so though, now I have 3 sleep pillows. And these pillows are designed to hold your neck, and if you sleep on your side, they've got a cutout where your face lays in there. Take a little bit of getting used to. It's not bad. Maybe a few days. And what it does is it supports your neck, which helps you sleep better and breathe better while you're sleeping. And then it also keeps you from squunching up your skin on pillows. And pillows that are cotton, and I love cotton sheets. I love bamboo. I love all of that. Bamboo's not too bad. Bamboo's actually pretty good. But if you've got sheets and pillowcases that are dry and they cause friction, they're more likely to push your skin up. Not only that, they're going to wick away your skincare products. So if you spend all this time putting stuff on your face and you're laying on a cotton pillowcase, I promise you it's wicking some of that skincare. That's why the pillowcases get discolored and you have to wash them, because it's taking the skincare products back out. Silk won't do that. And these sleep pillows usually have a silk or copper, tinsel, or bamboo. They usually have a case that helps your skin to breathe. And in the case of the copper tinsel versions, that you have like breakouts from acne, it's very helpful because that bacteria can't live on that pillowcase. So I'm a big proponent of that when it comes to that particular area. I have 3 of them. I carry one when I travel because it really makes that big a difference. People that have creases here, especially ladies, hate that. They get the lines right here in the middle of the chest, necklines, crow's feet, all of that can be pressure wrinkles. So you're taking the skin and you're making a dynamic wrinkle, which means it should go away when you go back. And when we're younger, that stuff does. But as you get older, you notice a sheet crease stays in your skin longer, like if you had a lot of something. So when you use a sleep pillow, you're alleviating all of those dynamic wrinkles, which can actually go a long way to remove those creases and lines and wrinkles, especially around the neck, the eye area, and the middle of the chest. Very, very helpful for that.
Love it. I didn't know that about the skin. The only reason I knew that about silk pillow is I started to use them for my hair
Yeah, good to your
because
hair
I've
too.
been,
Same thing.
right?
Yeah, cotton will
Yes.
wick out the moisture out of your hair and make it very dry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a difference. I've been growing my hair for a few years
Yeah.
and it's,
Cotton farmers probably don't like me right now, but when it comes to pillowcases, you need a good pillowcase. A good pillow and a good pillowcase are going to go miles in preserving how your skin looks and your
okay.
hair. You're right about that.
Any specific silk cases we need to look out
No,
for or
choose. I
any
mean,
silk?
there are a lot of brands out there. You want it to be, 100% silk. There's so many different versions of it. If the silk is too expensive, it's a little. You'll know because they cost money. They're not cheap. Silk pillowcases, good ones, are not cheap. But there's bamboo is good. Copper tinsel pillowcases. There are a variety of ways you can do this that are better for your skin than just cotton.
Chris, it's the holiday season. You just sorted us with Christmas gift ideas.
There you
It's
go.
amazing.
Yes.
There
Oh,
you
I've given
go.
out the silk pillowcases. And the great thing about those, they're in every color. Like whatever the person's taste or style is, there's a color for that.
I love it. Chris, I have another question because I know that initially when you started your skin journey, it was all about acne and
Mm.
pimples and that kind of prevention. And I've been one of those adults that suffered from acne. And I'm also one of those adults that at some point has had stress pimple or some kind of breaking, and you don't know if it's hormonal or stress or all of the above. And of course, what you do is if you get a white head, black head, you want to squeeze it and push it and get an extraction, right? I know this might be a bit getting into the gross
No. I'm familiar with this
description.
territory.
Okay, so can we talk about pimples? Like, what should we do? Do we want to squeeze them? Do we want to remove the white
All
hair?
right.
Do we want to
Well,
remove the black heads? Do we want to do manual extractions? Tell us everything.
here's the thing on that. Usually you want to try to avoid squeezing anything in the skin because we'll start with when you're in your teens. If it's cystic acne and you have a lot more pustules than you would normally have as, say, an adult acne breakout, um, that's what causes scarring. It pushes the bacteria into other areas under the skin that can lead to more breakouts than you would have normally had. So the best thing for that, and I'm going to keep going, we'll talk about adult acne. The best thing for that is, of course, all the dietary stuff I talked about, but taking a warm to hot washcloth and really steaming the skin or a steamer for a good 5 minutes. It's a process to really let those pores dislodge and drain out the oil, the bacteria, the little dead skin cells that create the bump in the first place. So it's not your skin oil that's a problem for your acne. It's just you get a little piece of dead skin tissue in there, little bacteria gets going, your immune system goes, for some of us, whoa, and you get the big breakouts. Adult acne, a little similar thing, making sure all cosmetics are off, making sure you steam the skin when you're in one of those phases where you're having that hormones. What they do is turn up the oil. So sometimes when you're an adult, you've been along, the bacteria is on your skin. It's on everyone's. It's everybody has it. Its job, that bacteria that causes acne breakouts, is to break down skin oil and digest it. That's what it does. So you've been going along for 10, 20 years, and now suddenly you're having a spike, a hormonal spike of oil, and it happens to guys too. You suddenly get a little oilier. You may not notice it, but in your skin, you've just fed a bunch of bacteria that's just been doing its thing, being washed off, growing back, being washed off. Now it's got food, and you get the breakout, especially down around the jawline. This is where it usually it's right in here, and then people freak out. They try to scrub it and put all this harsh stuff on there and dry it up. The best thing for the one-off zit or pimple is a pore treater. The minute you feel that little painful place, you take this roller, and there are a bunch of different ones. I even have one in my skincare line. They're usually camphor, salicylic acid, kills that bacteria right away, can stop the bump from even going any further. Like it'll go away in the same day. Same thing if you've already got one. What you don't want to do is pick at it. Because even as an adult, if you pick at it, you can get more breakouts and it can leave a scar. It can leave a mark. More often in adults, what it is, it leaves a red mark that just takes forever to go away. So just almost the same feeling as having a scar. So it's better to try to steam them with a warm washcloth, let them do their thing, put the spot treater on there. If it's a larger breakout, even the spot treater work, you can roll it across that because it's not your entire face. If you're getting large breakouts suddenly, as an adult, you need to go see a dermatologist because you could have something going on and I don't, it sounds scarier than it is, but you could have something going on that they may want to give you something stronger for, like a bacterial wash for the face or something to try to calm that down. It's sort of like when people get, the bumps in the scalp. Once they get going, they start scratching them, and then they have more and more, and they get harder and harder to treat. So it's really a really good idea to treat it gently. Just treat your skin gently. But those pore treaters, they look like a stick. They're a little roller ball on the end. It's usually about the same formulation: camphor, and some salicylic acid, a little bit of drying alcohol to help dry the area up. Just dabbing that on or rolling it across that little area where you have that breakout, especially at night, is very helpful. From a holistic standpoint, tea tree oil, very good for this. You can take a little tea tree oil, a drop of that, put a little olive oil in your palm, and then apply that at night, and the tea tree oil will do an amazing job on clearing up that bacteria.
I love that. What about coconut oil? You've talked about olive oil. Is coconut oil the kind that's going to give you pimple
it's different for different folks. Coconut oil is very occlusive, which means that when you think about a jar of coconut oil and it gets cool, what does it do? It thickens up, right? Turns into almost like lard. So it can do the same thing in the skin because of the high viscosity. It's like very thick. it can be a problem. Now, for areas where skin is damaged or super dry, like kneecaps or your heel, or in some cases very dry scalp, responds well to a coconut oil treatment and then wash. The best thing to do is to buy coconut oil products where the oil is fractionated, which means they take that oil and they put it in a thing that spins it and breaks it apart into little teeny components. So you still get the hydrating properties without it being so prone to block pores. If you have acne prone skin, I always tell people, do not use coconut oil on acne prone skin. Use castor oil. So castor oil, again, very thick viscosity oil. However, it doesn't gel. It doesn't block pores. And it's why we see it in so many skincare products. You'll see castor oil mentioned because it is so hydrating for hair and skin. And it reduces inflammation. It has a lot of very good benefits that coconut oil really does not have. But for dry skin, again, for knees, elbows, heels, some place where you're having severe dry skin, putting a treatment on and then following it with coconut oil is a great idea. It works just think of it as like Vaseline. It's going to cover that up. So it's occlusive, which means it's not going to let anything out. It's not going to let anything in till you wash it off.
The reason I'm asking you that is I love using makeup, and I find that one of the best way for me at night to remove makeup without using too many toxic chemicals is actually to use something like olive oil or castor oil, put it on the cotton pad, just a little bit of water, let it sit in for a minute or so, and then very gently rub. And I still haven't found a commercial makeup remover that works as
Yeah,
well as some kind of
you're
oil.
doing the oil cleanse, and that's what you have to use. You just have to use an
Is it?
oil. Yeah, you can use argan oil, jojoba oil, any of the oils that you really like that. Use that, dab it on there. It does. The oil breaks down mixes in with the cosmetic components and gets them off. And then you can cleanse your face with your regular hydrating cleanser. I recommend creamy cleansers for people that are older, so it's not strip out too much oil, and you get really cleansed, refreshed skin that way. So those are fine. Coconut oil would probably do the same. You just would have to make sure that you got that off, that you rinse that off, that you got the oil off. I really prefer olive oil. There are not mineral oil either. Mineral oil is a problem for a lot of people's skin. They don't even know that it can cause issues of irritation. There's a lot of things in commercial mineral oil that aren't necessarily great for everybody. Lanolin is a problem for some folks, so you have to kind of be careful with that. But an oil cleanse and then micellar water, that's the water that's treated, is great for makeup. Those two things right there, we should remove every bit of makeup from the skin together.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you if this is a myth or if this is a reality, but I was told in France specifically that if you use a soap that is based with goat or some kind of milky goat basis, yes, it can help with pimples and skin rejuvenation. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, goat's milk and soaps, it makes it a hydrating soap. Goat milk has lactic acid in it, which is from the lactose from the milk, which helps to break down oils in the skin and helps the skin. It's one of the AHAs. That's what it is. So there's glycolic acid, which is made from sugar, and then there's lactic acid, which is made from milk. They do similar things. They help speed up cellular turnover. They're good at clearing a lot. Lactic acid is good at getting down into the pore a little bit further and dissolving some of the muck that gets in there. The thickness of the oil helps dissolve those little skin flakes that start going. So yes, it can be helpful. Again, you have to test it out on yourself and see how it works. Does it work well for everybody? No. Some people find it a little bit too drawing of skin, like their skin is too dry afterwards. But it's an all natural soap, and it just depends on what's in it besides the goat's milk. Like, is there wax? Are there surfactants? It really depends. But again, it's the lactic acid benefit you're getting from the goat's milk that's creating the benefits for people that have skin issues.
Love it. Chris, I just wanted to go back when we were talking about pimples and we were talking about the ones that you shouldn't squeeze and touch. What about the blackheads that we may want to strategically steam and extract by using an extractor, for example? I have one of those little titanium tool that I use and that gently squeezes out a blackhead. How do you feel about those?
Um, it depends. It depends. So some people have like there's a channel. There's two things. There's a actual blackhead is where the oil is pooled inside the pore, it stretched the pore out, and the outside is oxidized and turned dark. So people don't like those, and so extracting those because they're really visible. There's not a problem with that. I have an extractor here. I don't get those anymore, but you just have to be careful. Same thing. You can buy the strips that will pull the stuff out, but there are filaments in your pores, and some people mistake those for blackheads. And the problem with some of these products, the pull products, is that it pulls the filament out of the pore, and that's really not great for your pores health. It disrupts the oil production and can create redness, and it can make the pores look larger than they normally would. So a lactic again, a lactic acid or a spot treater, if you can use something that like glycolic acid that will help dissolve the muck, so to speak, that gets it out but leaves the pores filament intact. You're better off that way. A lot of times people will use those and then they'll end up with a bump. They'll get like a pimple that's very painful, and it's because the bacteria has gotten down there. Every pore has a tiny little hair in it, whether you see it or not, and it's gotten inflamed and infected down in there. So if it's unsightly, again, steaming with a warm to hot washcloth or one of the face steamers is going to get rid of a lot of that on its own. Because when you
Right.
when you heat that skin like that, the pore relaxes. It doesn't get bigger. They don't do that, but they do relax, and it allows that stuff to come out. And when you cleanse, it will pull a lot of that out of there without you having to push on it. So it really depends. If you have a really obvious few and you want to use an extractor, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what they're for. If you go to the dermatologist, they'll do the same thing. If it's an area that's really unsightly or really bothering you. But in general, they will give you the same advice. You want to use products that help stop the creation of those so you don't have to do all of that.
Thank you, Chris. Can I ask you one last question before we wrap up?
Sure.
We've spoken a lot about our faces. What about our body? What do you wash your body with? I'm sure you're au fait with the whole debate all over social media at the moment. What to wash with, what not to wash with.
So body skin isn't really much different than your facial skin. The only difference mostly is that we tend to protect that from the environment more. So, I always say if you want to judge how much sun damage you have, look at the skin on your behind, which has been covered mostly for most of us all our life, versus the areas that have had a lot of sunlight, and you'll see the difference. People are like, wow, okay. But when it comes to body skin, the issues that people usually come up with is like I have dark underarms now, or there's dark area in my groin, or my knees have turned dark. A turmeric soap is really great. There are a lot of those out there right now. It's a big thing. It got something on TikTok now. It's been around forever. Turmeric is a really great skin brightener, natural, works really, really well. But you can get a turmeric soap. I use turmeric soap in the shower to keep everything nice and even tone since I'm getting older. Same thing though, you don't want to strip your body skin of all of its oil. So what I do is I have a water filter in my shower here that makes the water soft. I use a turmeric soap. Um, I use a special shampoo that is a mixture of herbs. It's called Spartan. It's for guys, but it's got like peppermint, rosemary. It's a lot of herbs. It's really good for the scalp and hair. So I'm pretty naturalist when it comes to this. I have a Japanese shower cloth called a goshi, which is a long looking towel, so I can do the back. I give those out at Christmas to everybody. And
So that to clean your back?
it helps you exfoliate your skin all over. So it's like a washcloth, but it's long. It's called goshi, Ghoshi, I think, is something like that. But anyway, Japanese shower towel is all you need to search for, and you'll find them. Their texture, they're a rough sort of texture, almost like wool. They feel kind of like wool, and you use them with your soap or alone, and you just lightly use that instead of a washcloth or a scrubber, and it removes all the dead skin. And then, of course, I apply a bakuchi oil body lotion by Verse Skincare. It's their gentle retinol, because bakuchi oil is considered a retinol, for just keeping everything. Yeah. Or or if I'm having dry skin issues, like we're into wintertime now, I'll use a skin oil, like a body oil. Like Glow Melanin has a really great sesame based body oil that's really, really good. But hydration, exfoliation, it's really not much different. Really
Got it.
not.
The retinol that you use on your body, Chris, is that compatible to the face as well? Can you
Yeah,
use that? Yeah.
you could.
Okay.
You could. I have
Good.
a facial cleanser. I like my facial cleansers because they smell good. The botanicals in them are really good. But yeah, you can use that anywhere. It just helps your skin's melanin production stay even, so you don't get darkened areas. That's really, if you're someone of a really darker skin type, turmeric products are really helpful, because a lot of things that are just designed for the general public, if you're a darker skin type, you don't want to over lighten areas, so you can actually make things worse. So those products are really good. um, but yeah, I take the Goshi shower towel with me when I travel, and if I'm ever with people, will see it in the bathroom and go, "What is that?" I'm like, "That's my washcloth." Oh yeah, it's like 6 feet long. It's not really. It's like about 4 feet long, but yeah, and it's like this wide. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's my shower towel. That I don't go anywhere without that thing."
Chris, what is one thing that you hear on social media about skin that drives you mad because you know it's total BS and you want to really clarify
There's a
today?
million of those things. Are you serious? I TikTok is full of them. The two biggest ones I think that concern me, really, that crop up from time to time, is the lemon juice thing. Putting pure lemon juice on your skin is not good, or your hair. It's caustic. It's unstable L-ascorbic acid, which should speak for itself, and it has the ability to really damage your skin barrier and break that down, and create problems with your hair. So lemon juice. Toothpaste is another one. Like a toothpaste face, I put toothpaste all over my skin, like especially for folks that have breakouts. Yeah, no. We spent what, like 10 minutes talking about how to handle acne, and so toothpaste was nowhere in there. So yeah, those things like that, are hot wax, things that are potentially dangerous, that can cause problems, are concerning to me. I don't particularly care for people using the derma rollers, the needles on the rollers that look like a something you'd rip fabric with. You used to put carpet in. They look the same. They're long like this. You put the carpet, and people use that on their face. The stamping is much better. Those rollers can rip and tear skin. And then homemade scrubs are probably the other one. I'm very cautious about scrubs of any kind. You want salt scrubs, sugar scrubs, anything that the crystals are going to dissolve as they're being used, so they don't cut your skin. Coffee grounds, ground up walnut shells, sand. I've seen all sorts of stuff. I'm like, no, no,
No.
none
So
of that
so
stuff's
so
good.
just going back, so the sugar and the salt, that's safe?
Yeah, those are better. If you're going to use a scrub, they're generally refined. And what happens is, when they get wet and you begin to use them on your skin, those crystals dissolve. So they're soft. They're not like shards. Like, think of like shells being ground up. They're going to be little, even microscopically, they're going to be sharp little pieces and ends. And so those, as the skin warms, they dissolve, and they do a really good job. If you gently use them, you should never scrub your skin with a scrub. It should be just applied lightly, massaged in, and rinsed off. That's all. No pressure. Just let the product do the work. Not your pressure of your hand do the work. So that's why I'm always cautious with those. But I've seen some stuff where I'm like, no.
So you're not for the coffee scrub TikTok
I am
content?
not a fan, but if you use it and it's working for you, like I say, people know their body's the best. If they're applying a coffee scrub and this is commercially made, they're probably fine because they're going to have ground that stuff up. But to take coffee grounds from your coffee pot and just smear them all over you and then rub them in, no, that's not good.
Not a good idea.
No, that's not good. And you're you'll smell good, but that's not, no.
No.
Uh-uh.
Chris, I really loved your insights today. I would love just to give you an opportunity again to tell us exactly where would be your favorite route or avenue to connect to your world. I know your YouTube channel is phenomenal. Anywhere else that folks could get into your world?
Yeah, YouTube is really easy because in every video at the bottom of the description is all my social media, but I'm pretty easy to find. Mostly it's Chris Gibson Friends. Instagram is Chris Gibson Friends. Facebook fan page, Chris Gibson Friends. I have an online community called Skin So Fabulous. You just put Skin So Fabulous in the search bar and it'll pop right up. People join. That's free. They come in and they ask me questions specifically, and we're going to be doing more with that. I'm going to be doing lives and stuff over there, but it's a lot of people in there and they answer each other's questions. So it's kind of fun.
That's fun.
That's a way.
And that's face and body.
Yeah, that's anything. It's all broken into categories and different things. We're going to be doing a lot more with that as we go forward. And then I have, for those that are interested, I have a skincare line that I formulated called Clear Revolution Skincare. That's small. It's not at retail. It's a very small. They sell a lot of stuff all the time, but it's something we've been developing for a while. I'm really proud of that. We've taken our time, very slowly, very methodically with the formulas and stuff. And then I just launched Replenish Mode, which is a supplement line. So where you can get collagen peptides and you can get probiotics and you can get CoQ10 and that kind of stuff. So we just brand new. We just did that. I'm really proud of that. Something I wanted to do for a long time. So yeah, a lot going on. It's like I've never a dull moment around here.
I love it, Chris. Thank you so much. I learned so much. I can't wait to go and do my skin routine now, following all your advice.
There you go.
Take care. If you want to be featured on industry's leading podcasts, you know you need to grow your LinkedIn presence and improve your personal brand, but have zero time to do it yourself. Capture B is your answer. I've been using it myself, and it's been just a game changer. So today, I want to share it with you. If you're ready to grow your business and personal brand without burning out in the process, go to captureb.io. Thank you for spending your time with me today and listening to this episode. Remember to subscribe so that you can receive weekly updates. And if today's message resonated with you, please remember to share it with a friend, a colleague, or a loved one who could really benefit from this episode.